That tastes good. All right, guys, welcome back. Next to another episode, ladies and gentlemen. And today, guys, we are here for Tyson Fury versus Arslanbek Makhmudov pay-per-view fight. And by promoter Spencer Brown. Not Frank Warren. No promoter on for that. Live in Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, United Kingdom, in London, England. Live on Netflix. This one has some dooziness as we speak. Now, I will have to point this out, guys, information-wise, and there is, guys, I had other information to talk about recently. I do have 3 topics to talk about, but before we talk about the third and final topic, we might as well talk about the first topic. Now, guys, the first thing I'll have to talk about has nothing to do with boxing other than what's going to happen in the next few days. As I'm recording this, guys, I accidentally took out trying to plug in my USB because I recorded so much videos of going around trails and such, and I was working on doing season 8 of Supernatural Trails, but unfortunately, for some reason and reasons for problems, I had like problems for cable wires, things that were broken for some reason. I really can't explain it, but let's just say I had problems with trying to hook up this because I had problems with my wire, or maybe my cable was broken or something, and I couldn't get any and it stinks, and it really stinks. And it was really hard, and it was really tough, and I had problems with flash drive and Microsoft, and for some reason I try to go on videos to tell them how I can get my data out of this. I clicked on something, I listened to the instructions, and then boom, all my data was gone. All my data was gone, and it upsets me. And let's be honest, guys, 50% of the data that was in this was just old videos of my Foxwolf channel, and they were boring videos. There was nothing interesting for archive, so I'm glad they're gone. 30% of it were just information, other stuff, and then mostly inappropriate things, which I could keep to myself because, hey, we're human beings. We have stuff we keep for ourselves, and it is what it is. And the other percents of it, 20% of it, was episodes of Supernatural Trails. I put so much stuff here because, guys, I had so much information. I have problems on my Gmail and other stuff on my OneDrive because now on my OneDrive, my personal information says that there isn't enough free space, and I'm trying to pay money yearly, but I'm trying to save that up. So yeah, I got to clean up a lot of stuff on my laptop, and it really stinks. So there's just a lot of problems happening. It's like no matter how much I tried to go forward and try to make things easy for me, yeah, life gets really hard. So it just goes to show you how tough these things go, and I really don't know what to say about that. It is what it is, but again, it really upsets me. And guys, as I'm recording this, I'm going to record this 5-minute clip and upload it to my channel, Foxwolf, as you're watching. But again, I'm already done with that YouTube channel. I'm done with it. And as for Supernatural Trails, I managed to save 6 videos. Like, I've already finished uploading 4 of them right now on YouTube. I'm going to upload 2 of them this Friday, and then next week I'll upload 2 more for 6 episodes. I'm thinking about recording 4 new episodes for the month of June to do the rest of my season 8 of Supernatural Trails. I'm going to call it season 9 and do 4 episodes of it, which were going to be 10 episodes. And then season 10, I'm thinking of just retiring it until the fall of next year for my 2-year anniversary and just let it quit. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I have Hunger Game videos I'm going to do there. And after I get to 100 episodes of Hunger Games, that's it. I'm done with the YouTube channel. I'm done with it all. And that's it. So that's all I'm going to have to say for it for now. So, guys, my second topic today, guys, before we talk about the heavyweight boxing division and with everything going on, we might as well have to talk about so much information here. We have so much information with the Amaru situation here. We have so much stuff happening. So much stuff is happening right now that it's hard for me to explain what's going on in the world today. Because, guys, information has already pointed out so much other problematics, and this one's a doozy to talk about because as of right now, guys, we've already had new information of Saikuno, and we've had reports about Saikuno and some manipulation stuff. Pokimane involved with her cookies and the corporation and such. Amaru versus Miss Kiff with Asmongold. Guys, this really upsets me because it just goes to show you that the internet is killing people for no reason. At the end of the day, guys, we're human beings. We're not robots. We're all off the mistaken range. We have to learn from it, and I think people have to understand that. So I don't hate Saikuno, Pokimane, or Emaru, or even Ms. Kiff or Cinder or Boogie2988 in any way. As a person, that depends when you talk to them one-on-one. And if I ever go, guys, if I ever had to do interview Zoom stuff on Zoom or even live commentary interviewing, I would do that right now because it does take you to that. And I can do that right now if I want to. And you know what? I would. Because as a person, it's different. But as an online creator, that only depends how desperate you are. Because at this moment, guys, you have to understand, we've already had videos about legal mindset with people scandalizing with legally dangerous, as YouTuber Legal Mindset already uploaded a video yesterday of Saikuno with scandal turns legally dangerous. It is ridiculous, and there's also other information about a streamer named Bonnie, and they've already reported a YouTuber named Bonnie has been guilty for some controversial and stuff of live stream content. And I think it just goes to show you that the online world and internet of live streaming is a disease. It's a killing aspect, guys, but I can't hate any of these people. I can't have no use for that because, guys, if I had to say that, guys, let's just say I go online and I say, Pokimane, you are the biggest a-hole in God's green earth. How's that supposed to make me feel better? Why not I just ignore it? Because, guys, why should we even have to trash talk any of these people? Like, guys, for crying out loud. Guys, you want to know what these I almost said VTubers for some hilarious reason. Oh my gosh, I'm sucking. Oh my gosh, none of these people are VTubers. No, wait, maybe Pokimane. I do know Pokimane did do some VTubing. But guys, here's my point. Guys, answer me this. What were these people doing back in 2020? People like Volcray, Saikuno, Corpse Husband, Greaseball, Cinnamon Toast, Toast Boy, PewDiePie, Jacksepticeye, Dave, James Charles, Pokimane. What were they all doing? They were playing Among Us. And we're 5.5 years into this, and it's like, now we have to hate them? Guys, at the end of the day, guys, we're human beings. We make mistakes, and I can't trash talk those type of people. I can't trash. Guys, at the end of the day, guys, people have their own reality check. They have their own voices that they can send out their voices to the public, and people do question that. Like, I do remember Asmongold did question Pokimane's voice, and other people online were commenting random stuff about, oh boy, about so much. And guys, oh man, I don't even know if I should even like. This one. It's I'm already lost for words because I can't stop thinking ridiculousness. But it's it's. Give me a second. I gotta take a breath for some reason. Like let me just try to understand this. At the end of the day, guys, we can't say much about anything here about the online world. Like I said before, there's people online that do have a lot of things because people call these people fake. Like there's people online calling Pokimane one of the fakest people out there, and you describe people as long passion. One person calls her a cringe. Even one person even points out how quiet she is and how she tries to talk in a quiet accent, and even the way she even talks. At the end of the day, guys, we're human beings. We talk with our own voices. Like for instance, guys, I didn't like it when I used to have a voice that was this deep, and I'm still trying to get used to trying to talk from here, because at the end of the day, guys, I do try to practice my tone of voice, but sometimes, like I said before, we're not robots. We're humans. We're not cyborgs. We're human beings, and we all do that. So don't question the way we talk, depending if you know who those people are. So just keep that in mind. And of course, I gotta practice my breathing. But let's not talk about myself right now. There's a lot of people out there that have to understand. Like, guys, I wish we can go back to the day when we used to see these people playing Among Us. Like, and heck, there's even other great people. Like, even Lily Pichu, that used to be a former, maybe a part-time VTuber right now, barely still, um, has also been involved with it as well. And it's not bad, but again, these people have played games. Like, don't get me wrong, I even heard that even Mr. Beast did do Among Us with Jacksepticeye and other people at the time. So, of course, I think that was like before the lie detector test thing. At the end of the day, guys, Mr. Beast, any other type of people, when they talked about Honey, download Honey, and the other stuff, that right there, when hearing about the stuff that happened and such, yeah, we could question that something was up. So I really can't say much about that. But I will say this. This is the most important thing that we have to understand, that with all this being said, I have to I have to look up humans that have their own attitude. Guys, there's people out there that do act weird. They're unnatural. And trying to give something back to the community is not that hard, in my opinion, because the one that tries to push it in my story as best I could. And I think that's what these people are trying to do. These people, like, yeah, when you have Pokimane saying that they're trying to run the company, run and this or that, and then she goes out and says, oh, she stepped away from the cookie company. Was that trying to give it back or something? Or was like, oh, she was satisfied for what she did, so she might as well just quit while she's ahead, or else something bad happens? We don't know the whole story about that if you don't look it up as much as you do. And I haven't looked up so much information about anything yet, but yet again, I'm not that type of person. Like, I know Scoochon, the Hungarian VTuber, has also made videos of talking about some controversial stuff. just like Jacksepticeye and other people. So I do respect Asmongold for Scoochan and Jacksepticeye for their own stuff. So I really can't say much about that. So all in all, this is a different ball game for what it is. But for now, guys, I've talked too much about this already, but it is probably better to just leave this alone and just move on. And what I'm going to move on, guys, is April the 11th, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, England, for the Tyson Fury and Arslanbek Makhmudov pay-per-view fight. This one is going to be a doozy. This one is going to be a doozy, and I hope you viewers enjoy it. Forget about the controversy of online people. Worry about this type of stuff because I think it's better than politicians. I don't even want to pay attention to politicians or even the Democratic or Republican of anything. Why would you? And this one's also going to be 45 minutes long, so keep that in mind. This one is going to be a doozy. So let's talk about this right now. Then later. Boy. Dang. This one is going to be interesting, huh? Okay, so for the next half an hour, all I can say is interesting. So trying to look up the fight card. What are the first fights on the show? Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. By the way, guys, as I'm recording this, the press conference for Rico Verhoeven and Alexander Usyk has already started, but that's not the third topic of the show we're talking about. I've already talked about my two topics about my USB drive going downhill and now the online media. That's two. This third topic is now here for a doozy. Now, guys, the UK timeline is different than here. And so, guys, at 6 p.m. on April the 11th, 6:13 p.m., is when they released out new footage after the fight was over for the main event. But again, of course, guys. So, guys, the entire fight, Eastern Standard Time. Keep this in mind, guys. I was born in the Eastern Standard Time of the Eastern of United States. 6:01 p.m. Before 6 p.m. Tyson Fury already sent out his information and other stuff, but originally, guys, the real competition are over the hills. Okay, so with the fights of competition, guys, the sport is now throwing in a new ball game right now. So the first fights on the show start out in the first. Ricky Gorman fights against Ryan Laborn. And of course, Ricky's real name was mostly, some people called him Francis, is in BoxRec. He scores a 4-round points decision against a Sakura Hagiwara fighter of Ryan Laborn. 40 losses, now 41 losses, and 2 draws. So there goes a career highlight there. Like, how long has this person been fighting? Since 2022? Dude, this Sakura Hagiwara fighter fought 43 times? Where were the draws, for crying out loud? Oh, early on in 2023 in one fight, and one a month later, about a few months later, she's in October. She's crazy. The second fight around the show at the time was Elliot Waite. This It's funny. On BoxRec, it says his last name is Elliot Whale, his last name, but on sportingnews.com, on the fight card results, says Elliot Wait. Whate, but it's Whale. So I guess continuity error. Scores a third round TKO against Hector. Wait a minute. Tom Hill. Oh, yeah, Tom Hill. Yeah. Four round TKO. He scores a 4-round TKO against Tom Hill, a 12-4 fighter. Elliot Whale, 13-0 from the welterweight. Here we go. Sultan Ala Muhammad, a 2-0 fighter, takes on Hector Lozano. Another good victory. That was also a fourth round. So on fight card, sportingnews.com says fourth round TKO, but on BoxRec it says third round TKO. So I don't know. And that's a 4-round fight, so I'm questioning what's going on here. Sheesh. Dude, these people really know how to confuse us a lot about these sport. Guys, BoxRec and sportingnews.com are really confusing us with this entire fight card results here, because I'm looking at these things right now as we're speaking. I'm not watching videos, and I do have my notepad here for the stuff I wrote down, but I haven't wrote down a lot of stuff for the main event, so don't expect me to talk about much about the main event or the second last match on the show. Just keep that in mind. But shoot, this is ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Dude, there's so much ridiculous stuff. Like, okay, so here's one that's accurate. Okay, these two got it right. 12-0 Mikey Talon, spelled Mikie, Mikey, Tallon, Talon, wherever you like to call him, in the flyweight, scores his third knockout victory in his 13th pro fight in the first round by KO against an 8-4 fighter of Leonardo Blanc. He was counted out after being floored by a left hook to the body. That right there shows you rarity. A person with 12 wins and 2 knockouts and scores a great KO like that in his third knockout in his 13th fight, you gotta be lucky. Again, guys, I said this before. There's a lot of ridiculous stuff here, but I think what the problem is about this, there's not a lot of great performances in the fight cards. Some of these guys, a lot of these fights shouldn't be known as pay-per-view fights, other than, I would just like to say, add these fights as for going on television for free or something, or put them as dark matches, for crying out loud, because these should be like Monday Night Raw shows, and then you can go to the pay-per-view for the fun of it, because that's what this whole stuff reminds me of. So theoretically, guys, with all this being said, the next fight on the show is an 8-round professional fight of 21-0 Brayan Gorham taking on Eduardo Costa do Nascimento in an 8-round contest. Now, Brayan did score a knockdown in the first round against Eduardo, and Eduardo would recover to go through a few more rounds. He comes in, but by the middle part of round number 5, it just seemed like he was not getting a lot of stuff done in the fight. Brayan gets his 22nd pro win, and this is also his 17th knockout in his career. He's ranked 34 in the super lightweight and ranked number 9 in the USA in that division as we speak. It was a great win for him, and again, nothing much to be said. Finally, we have two fighters with a total combination of 45-0 in their career. 28-0 Simon Zackenhuber takes on 17-0 Howell August in a 6-round contest. He's 17-0, by the way, and this is a 6-round pro fight. For reasons why this was a 6-round pro fight in a super middleweight contest, we'll never know, other than these fighters weren't ranked that high. German fighter Simon is against with this British fighter of Powell. And mostly this fight, I haven't seen the fight, watched footage of it, but people do point this out. Now, Reese Carter is the referee, and the other fights on the show are just referees reffing fights. The UK still does that with one referee reffing the entire fight for a score, so which I find fair. Depends. Unfortunately, with all that being said, August scored round 1, as information says, and Simon scored as a close fight for round 2. So you can write that off as round 2 was a close round for August as well. August dominated round 3 and round 4, only for Simon to squeak in a good round 5 and dominate the last round with a bang, being 57-57, but Reese Carter had 58-56 for August, and that was it. All in all, guys, if there is footage of that, which I would have to look back at it, but I haven't seen it, so who knows, but we'll think about it later sometime. Again, there wasn't much to talk about anything else here. Like we're already 6 fights into this 11-fight contest. And the one fight I wouldn't really talk about much is Felix Cash, 16-1, taking on 13-2 Liam O'Hare. O'Hare was knocked down twice in round 1, again in round 2 early in 22 seconds in the second round, and Felix Cash wins the fight easily. It was an 8-round fight, but again, the records could not speak for itself. But the real story, guys, would have to be the last 4 fights of the contest, and that would have to be it. Fraser Clark versus Justice Hooney for all the gold. So, guys, Fraser Clark's the first failure, the guy that came out of the Olympic Games in the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan. Like, all I can say is Fraser Clark's defeats and his draw with Fabio Wardley and the loss that same year, his loss against Jamil Chekeva, and now against Justice Hooney, the damage has already been done. Another British fighter failed. Wardley, like again, guys, Fraser Clark failing on in the Olympic Games a little bit there. And now you had even another British fighter recently, a couple of years ago, not do a good job. So I can't say much about that. After Joe Joyce in 2016, everything has gone downhill for the Olympic fighters for Great Britain. And he's still funny to talk about. Justice Hooney comes into this fight and tries to put on a good show. And he did. He dominated the first 3 rounds. Fraser came back in round 4. Hooney managed to get round 5 underway, managed to get a good win there. And just like round 6, Clark comes back in round 7 hard. And then round 8 and round 9 were definitely Hooney. The 10th and final round, well, considering there were finishes at the end, so I gave it to Fraser Clark just for the heck of it. So I had it 97-93, while depending, that wouldn't be a good score. I wouldn't say 97-93 is anywhere good, but I can't say that's accurate. But again, who's arguing? But of course, 2 judges had 96-94, and one other had 95 even. But don't worry, because those other 2 judges did favor it majority for Justice Hooney. So at least the right fighter won. With all that being said, like we're already a half an hour into this, and with only 15 more minutes left of this show, what else can I say? Jamie Shakeva taking on Richard Rakpori for the BBBFC, British Boxing Board of Council British Heavyweight Championship. This fight is out of the circuit here. Again, like I said before, last November, Jamie defeated Fraser Clark by split decision, even after he was deducted a point for a low blow in round 3, but he had enough to win that fight. While Richard Rakpori, a guy that I could not give praise as much, like he's 36 years old right now. He lost a couple years ago against Chris Smith for WBO World Cruiserweight. Even though he defeated Chris Smith in 2019 by a 10-round split decision in a close fight, and he got obliterated, he managed to almost have Chris barely win 7 rounds in that fight pretty much in their second meeting. So again, he wasn't much in his prime anymore, and this is his 10th year in boxing right now in the pro. Richard comes into this, and out of nowhere, this fight became a mess. It was a messy fight for what it is, and I wish I could talk more about it for what it is, but again, I can't really say much about that. Just because there is other things happening here. Like, Richard was a decent fighter for this. He managed to outbox Jamie pretty well in the fight. He dominated round 1, 2, and 3. He knocked him down. Well, he didn't knock him down. In round 4, Chikeva was deducted a point in round 4 for use of head. And then in round 5, he was knocked down in the 5th round. And by 2 minutes and 12 seconds of the fight, the referee, stopped the fight, and Richard won the fight. It was a dominant performance win for him, and again, it wasn't much of a... I wouldn't say it was much of a performance, but for Richard being ranked top 10, he's number 10 in the rankings. He was number 9 or number 8, but of course that night was going to be different. As for Jamie, well, guess what? He's ranked 87, and guys, Jamie has 3 knockout losses. His loss in round 6 in 2023 was bad. His David Adelaide fight last year ago was controversial for how that horrible fight ended with a clinch and then break, boom, and that was it. So he's already done for in boxing. 3 of his fights and losses were knockouts, so I can't say much about that. It is what it is. It is what it is. Finally. Oh my gosh. Guys, I have more information to talk about this fight than the main event. That's all I can say. Wow. This fight. Conor Benn versus Regis Progress. Guys, referee for the night is Kieran McCann. By the way, guys, with Reese Carter, Lee Avery, and of course, Mark Bates are the judges. So Conor Benn's 29 years old. Regis is 37. He's the southpaw fighter, by the way. Both guys are 5 foot 8 inches tall. And all in all, I do find this one to be interesting, then ridiculous. So it's been 4 years since Connor has lost won a fight by knockout. His fights in 2023 and 2024 in America were just tune-up fights after his drug test fails and his controversy came out a year. He lost against Eubank Jr., won a rematch in November that same year. And again, due to his drug test and his pride, it is hard to understand much about him than Regis. Both guys just came out there and just hit a heavy performance here. Like, guys, Regis, guys, these fighters had moments to shine. And guys, I had to look back at footage wise, interestingly, because the entire fight was interesting, where Conor Benn just sets up, like, guys, Conor Benn was setting up great two punch combinations, somehow with a left right, and he was on fire that day, and he was laying out punches from the first round, and he sets out with great jabs and great cross heres and right there, and Regis, like, I can't say it's that much of a problem. Like, it was decently, like, it was a 10-round performance. But again, I really can't say that it was all worth it. Like, the fighters were beating each other up. There were heavy hits, body punches, and great counterclockwise. It was something that was almost like an interesting fight, because from all with all of this, like the only thing you would see that day were just punch combinations. Like during the end of the first round, Progress did lost his balance when the bell rung, but he managed to hold himself together until then. And of course, in the fourth round, during some early parts, Progress tried to charge in and hurt out Eubank, but Eubank punches back and sets out punches and body punches by Progress, and both guys were, again, he wasn't in his prime, but again, Progress was going aggressively in the fourth and the fifth round. Like, those were two of the closest rounds I could almost say of the fight, which I thought Progress might have had something there in those fourth round and just like the fifth round. But after the fourth and fifth round, even before the first three rounds, which were definitely Conor fights, and then even by round six, when Conor managed to squeak out round six as well, the last four rounds were utter squash for Conor. So, yeah, I guess with all that being said, and the judges giving him 98-92, all favored for Conor Benn, it was decent. Now, don't get me wrong, even the parts of those fights, even there were still great things, but there were moments of headbutts and other moments in the punch, but there weren't a lot of, like, guys, there weren't a lot of interesting things happening in the fight as much, and there weren't a lot of, like, even the championship rounds weren't getting entertaining as much as we thought. Like, it was so utterly dominant that it just seemed like we were just watching a waste of time. Like, and all of that being said, guys, it just seemed like Conor Benn, like, it wasn't a terrible fight, but again, as a 10-round fight, I wouldn't really say it was a fight I could say was good. Like it is funny, guys, because I was looking at this fight and I was thinking to myself, the only way Progress is going to try to get out of this without losing is to test if Conor Benn did have eggs before the fight. And like I said before, guys, if you don't know anything about the steroids thing, you know what, guys? That makes sense. guys, this kind of makes a lot more sense. Because, guys, when you look at Conor Benn, guys, I actually didn't realize. You know what, guys? Now this makes so much sense right now. So it's been 4 years, and in Conor Benn's last 5 professional fights, 4-1, have all went the distance. Conor Benn, when he was 20-0 with 14 knockouts, he was a knockout. By 2022, with his second round TKO, he was hurting guys. He was going the distance against fighters, and some fighters he was beating. And even though in 2018, 2019, he had a couple of decisions there, but again, they weren't that much to talk about. He was dominating the fights. And then as the start of 2023 and 2024 and 25, 26, he just didn't have that knockout power anymore. Like, he did knock down Chris Eubank in the last round of round 12 and then give Chris Eubank a broken eye in their first meeting. But you know what, guys? Chris Eubank having 0 KOs even after 2022, before the next year when he got popped for steroids, that does actually make this more questionable about Conor Benn's career at this moment, because he's 10 years into his pro career when he debuted back in April the 9th of 2016. So this is now his 10th year in boxing. And with all that being said, I have to say that this might not go for him. Now, again, Chris Eubank is ranked number 2 in the welterweight, and he might be in for a good title fight win, just like his father, Nigel Benn. Chris Eubank Sr. might not be happy about his sons, Harlem and Chris Jr., and Chris Jr. is an IBO champion a bunch of times and will never go for a world title fight, no matter how close he gets. But again, it is ridiculous. Now, I will say, though, Conor Benn is overrated. He does have that quick thinking and quick punching and jabs. But again, I think there were problems here because, like I said before, guys, Regis is 37 years old, and that I question more than anything else in the entirety of this fight. So I really can't say this was a work in progress, but he is ranked better in the fight, but it wasn't a good time in the prime for anyone like Progress. But all in all, it was a fight nevertheless, so I got to accept it for what it is, but I don't know. I don't buy it. All right, guys, and we're almost at 45 minutes, so I might as well have to cut a few more minutes here. I'm gonna have to take a little bit of a water break. I'm just gonna cut it by 50 minutes. Jeez. Crazy. Tyson Fury versus Arslanbek Makhmudov for the return of the Gypsy King in the main event division for 12 rounds. The fight starts off, as crazy it is, Makhmudov starts out the fight with a bang, and the last 11 rounds of the fight ends in a whimper for him, and that's all you people have to know about him. Arslanbek Makhmudov is coming off short, and he takes off jabs and punches, and even after that, with referee Mark Bates as referee, he attacks Tyson Fury early on in the first 10 seconds of the fight, pushes and shoves him, and gets to start fighting wild. So it's already turning into a dirty fight at this moment, and believe me, guys, just like what happened to the Wilder and Chisora fight, with Mark Bates as referee, you know you're going to watch something crazy, and it might not be good. And that's what we see here. Like, we come into the second round of the fight and nothing crazy does happen. Like, of course, there was a moment during the last seconds of the second round, but you know what's crazy? Because it's crazy enough. Tyson Fury has done greatness into each round of the fight. He can take out a jab. He can take some good punches. He actually can locate some good punching and counter punching. But again, it wasn't that much for me to say to myself, hey, he might be good than he is. Again, guys, like I said before, guys, Tyson Fury, as for the age difference, it's different because Fury is 37 years old, Makhmudov is 36, Fury 6'9", and Makhmudov 6'5.5". So don't expect much from it. And Makhmudov has suffered a early fight knockout against Caballero and a middle fight against Guido Vianello in 2024. And around 2024, Fury only had 2 fights and he lost. But now, guys, it takes us down to the question, what we're looking at here. This is what you people see. Picture it as it is. Makhmudov throws heavy looping rights in the 4th round. 5th and 6th, we get clinches. We're getting arm grabs by Makhmudov. Every time Fury tries to come in for the attack, Makhmudov clinches. Mark Bates does nothing. Grabs, pushes, and punches by Tyson Fury. Uppercuts, grapples, holds. Mark Bates just lets it in. He tries to clinch Fury in the 8th round. He F's it up like Tommy Morrison did to Ray Mercer, and Fury just throws some free punches and clinches him back again. The later rounds in the championship rounds, he goes down and the referee slips and does nothing about it. This fight is an abysmal. That's what this fight is. The uppercuts, the fights, the punch, the jabs, and of course, like I said, and even round 9 is when he even touched the knees. And Mark Bates just lets it all go. He doesn't do nothing. He like the clinches, he's walking around like everything is okay, everything is great. Again, even a round later in round 10, he's getting beaten up so much. And guys, don't expect if all the judges had 120 to 108, because that's what this fight would have been like if they didn't think it. Because just imagine if the judges decide to say, hey, round 1 is too much for Makhmudov. I have a feeling Tyson is going to get dominated. And then before they know it, guess what? Fury just dominated the other round. So it's embarrassing to see that all the judges were afraid that, oh no, Makhmudov is going to kill Fury. And then 11 rounds later, from 2 to 12, Fury is doing all the work. And yeah, so it's crazy. So eventually, coming into the 11th round and everything else, Makhmudov is trying to attack Fury. Every time he tries to clinch him, Fury gets out of the way and then pushes, and then he gets him to the ropes of the corner. That's what we see, and it's so scary. And again, those uppercuts by Fury were devastating. And seeing that this wasn't a fight to be declared with, they go to 12 rounds, the distance, and they clinch on the rope. Both hug each other just for the heck of it. And they come in as it was just a wild snooze fest of craziness. It was crazy for what it is. And they clinch each other to the final round, and the bell rings, and the fight's over. 2 judges, Lee Everly and Kieran McCann, had 120 to 108. Reese Carter, 119 to 109, like me, favored it for Fury. Winner by a landslide. This show. And wait, there's more. Because after the fight, around the end of the fight at 5:56 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Fury urges Joshua to join him in the ring, and Joshua just says, "No, it's your night." It's probably about to become their night. First, the decision. And Fury is like crazy because Turki Al-Sheikh is in the ring with him, and the time's come. They've announced for the fight. Fury is trying to back on with Joshua, and Joshua finally brings on the mic, talks to Fury while he's sitting down, and they go crazy all night. By 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Crazy. And the entire interview and everything else, you guys can look up the interview. You guys can watch the interview and the ringside and everything else crazy after that, but at the end of the day, it was all crazy. That's all I can say. So that's all I have to say for the show. We're already 50 minutes into this, but you know what? I look back at this as a good landmark for Fury. Because at this moment, guys, Fury is 37 years old. Him and Wilder have fought for 18 years in the pro since 2008. And at this moment, if they have 2 more years left in them for 2028, I would accept that as a great legacy career for both of them. Even though both Fury, Joshua, and Wilder have lost fights in their career, I would like to see Joshua beat Fury and then have him fight Wilder. But we're going to have to wait for that next time. But for now, I'd like to say thank you for watching and just say so long next time because it's going to be a doozy. The undisputed light flyweight division and even for the undisputed atomweight division, I was going to promise to do. I'm going to save that one for some other time, but you know what? We'll see what happens next time. So take care.